Well, hello. I'm Darling Kitty with the Caliente Girls. We're live on YouTube as well as be airing on the Caliente Girls show for Dash Radio. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Maxwell Plains. Thank you and welcome here. Um,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming and joining us. And I know you said you're in Chicago, so thank you for burning that midnight oil for us.
Yeah, it is a little past my bedtime, but it's okay.
Nice. I really like the room that you're in. Is that like a studio, your workroom?
Yeah, this is my studio that I work out of here in Chicago.
Nice. Did you do the artwork
No,
on the wall?
actually, yeah. So a good friend of mine who does all like the cover art for my music as well. He painted this.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. That's great. So, tell us a little bit about you. I mean, what kind of genre of music do you play? Let the listeners know who don't know you.
Um, I've never really put like a pinpoint to like what kind of music I make, but I guess like I would just say it's like got some soulful influence to it, but obviously some hip hop because I can't sing, so I kind of just spit lyrics while I have singers accompany me. So it's like an R&B-ish, soulful kind of hip hop.
No, I love it because when you were playing your guitar solos, and I was just like, man, this guy's got some skills. So, and
I
it wasn't
appreciate
really
that.
sure, but yeah, it does have a lot of soul, a lot of R&B. You can really listen to it. I enjoyed it. I had fun looking around on your Instagram and whatnot. So, what brought you into music? I mean, what inspired you to become a musician?
Well, I always kind of been, really attracted towards just the idea of music in general since I was little. But,
Mm-hmm.
when I was growing up, people like I was the one who would always give out CDs. I was the one who was always putting people on to like music that I was listening to or finding. And then that kind of just like graduated into being curious into creating music. And then that kind of graduated into, you know, actually making it and then pushing it out and doing stuff with it. So as far as inspiration goes, like obviously there's been a bunch of musicians that inspire me, but it was just something I always been curious about.
Nice. So, because I see you play the guitar, is that something that you just would pick up as you were doing it? Or were you, it was a family member? You know how like some people have
No,
their,
yeah. So actually my whole entire family except for me and my brother are all deaf. So nobody in my house. So like, yeah, so basically there's no influence on that part, but it did
Mhm.
influence me because I was able to, be practicing guitar whenever I want. It makes me like have like the freedom to like go and like find music without people telling me what you can and cannot listen to. So
Wow. Well,
yeah,
you
but I
found a for you. You took
exactly
advantage of that. Did you pick up the drums too?
right. I probably should have,
No, but wow,
but no.
that's incredible. That's well, good for you. Good for you that you found an interest in music and you weren't hindered by our parents telling us turn that down. What are you listening to? Good for
Yeah.
you that you were able to do that. So tell us, like, what are you working on right now?
So basically, I had put together like a whole project, and I was gonna release the project
Okay.
2 months ago, and then I decided, you know what, I think I need to just release them all as singles, and then
Okay.
accompany the singles with a music video. So basically, I'm just filming videos and releasing singles, and that happens every 4 to 5 weeks. And so right now,
Okay.
I'm just focused on pushing out these videos.
Oh, wonderful. Why don't you let our listeners know what where they can find and watch and participate and like and follow you? Where can they find this?
Yeah. So basically, it's at Maxwell Plains, everything Twitter,
Okay.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Perfect.
And it's planes like airplanes. And
Yes. And
yeah,
Maxwell with
it's
two
super
L's.
easy. Yeah, 2 L's. exactly.
Nice. So Maxwell Plains, and are so you're pretty much on all the social media platforms. Where do you have your music? Is it like I know a lot of people have like iTunes or Spotify. Are you on any
Yeah,
of
I
those?
got it. I'm on all of them: iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, all of it.
Okay,
I
so
try to
we
make it
basically
super
can Google
easy to
you,
find me. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right. I mean, that's
Yeah,
key because at the beginning of a lot of this, with independent people, you get a new social media platform and then you got a new name. You know what I mean? Like you're like four or five different
exactly.
names. No one could ever find you. So when I figured out, I need to have one name for all of them, and then you get to the
Yeah,
point. I was interviewing one independent artist, and I go, well, tell us your social media, and he's like, just Google. And then I was like, that's good.
right.
you know,
It's
you
a
get
lot
on
easier
so
than
many.
being like Twitter is at +1, Instagram _1. Like
Yes.
nobody wants to dig through that.
No, and then people talk too fast, and even if you spell it out, not everybody is like an audio. Like they're like, "Oh, I gotta see it," or I get confused sometimes. I'm like, just text it to me. No,
Right,
that's good.
exactly.
So, are you have any goals to work with any, collaborate with any other artists?
Yeah. So these past like 3, 4 years, I've been actually touring with another group, and we've been able to work with an incredible amount of amazing artists, and I've
Mhm.
developed a lot of relationships through that route that I would like
Okay.
to, eventually bring into this route. And Maxwell Plains is all a new kind of situation. It's been around probably maybe like 4 or 5 months, but I've been doing this music stuff fairly deep for like 6, 7 years with other groups. And so now that
Okay.
I'm focusing on my situation, I'm taking people from everywhere that I've met to just bring into the picture.
Yeah, the people you've connected with and network. Now you're able to do that because you're doing your own. You're independent. So, are you consider yourself independent, or are you open to the possibilities for a label to sign you?
Definitely open to the possibilities with certain labels because,
Okay.
um, I mean, through my past touring and musical work, I've developed relationships with certain people who have record label affiliations that I like, and I see how they move with their artists, and I would appreciate to work with something like that. But it's all depends on the situation.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
But no, that's good to know because it's always good to have your options open because you always get a lot of the bad rap stuff that you hear, but sometimes it's just that extra boost or collaborate. I mean, I don't know, but I
yeah,
just know a lot of artists are being more independent now, and with all these like social media platforms, if they get so many live stream listens and followers, they start making some money. So I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. It's kind of not replacing the need for record labels because the record labels still have things to offer in its own way, but it's definitely a new age where independent artists can definitely, do their own thing and still
exactly.
thrive or make moves. Yeah.
Right? I mean, in a weird way, it's kind of like these big social media platforms that offer, it's kind of like their own little. You're kind of getting with the big guys because they got the followers and whatnot that they can drive towards.
All it is for them is like, okay, yeah, let me just call them real quick. Boom. But we
Right.
had to develop relationships like that, but like they have relationships already in the pocket.
Yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. And so, with all this pandemic and everything, how did that affect you and your work?
It affected me a lot. I was on like right when like the pandemic hit, like I was on a tour and we did had finished the West Coast and we were supposed to go through Canada, do the East Coast and the South, and every show was sold out. It was going very well. And then I had to come back home and try to make it work on like, just being like in one place instead of constantly moving and meeting people and
Yeah.
doing work like that.
And so, how
Yeah.
did you handle that?
Uh, I I feel like I use it as a time to like really like perfect my craft and build my repertoire. So I just been like in the studio, working on my playing, working on my writing, pushing out songs, filming videos, just doing everything, but just in Chicago.
That's good. Well, you make the best out of the situation. And, for a lot of artists, I like to ask that question because, you get a lot of people who really embraced it. But like you're the first one. I mean, I haven't spoken like a millions, but you're one of the first ones that actually said that you were on tour. So your game was kind of interrupted. So I can get how it's like, you had your heart set, sold out tour. That's the whole point, right? So
exactly.
When you came back, I mean, where were you when they finally told you like, oh no, pandemic can't, it's canceled? Where were you when that happened?
We were playing in Seattle that night.
Oh, okay.
And I remember there was like other tours that we saw like starting to drop out. And then we played the Seattle show, and then they had said, oh yeah, no meet and greet tonight. And when they said no meet and greet tonight, I'm like, all right, I'm already knowing what's going to follow. And then the next day they were like, yeah, you got to go home.
Wow. Was anyone affected on the tour with the COVID? I mean, or was it still like hearsay, like
Well, so when it happened, like when it first hit, like Seattle was like that big hot spot. And they canceled it when we were in Seattle. And I had ended up getting really, really sick, me and the artist. We never got, tested to see if it was COVID or anything, but like we for real like got like really, really sick. So, we kind of think, maybe it had happened, maybe not, who knows, but
well, they do have the antibody test. It's like it's a COVID test, but they do a little bit deeper the thing up the nose, and they can determine if you've been affected. So I mean, it sounds like the wave is coming back again, or who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But you can always find out. That's not a problem. So
I tried to get it. Like I tried to go get the antibody test, and the doctor was like, "Look, we're not like where we're supposed to be at, I guess, supposedly with the antibody test." So they're like, "Why don't you just wait a little bit and then figure it out?" Or I don't know, some bull, but.
And that was one of the things, like if you think you had it, the test was available. You could get an appointment any minute. But if you weren't sure, they pushed. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to dwell on all that, but it's something that's real. It's affecting everybody, artists, including yourself. I mean, for you're the first one in tour, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, a lot of people came from China or different, and they got quarantined, so that was kind of weird too. So, but I'm glad to hear that that you're doing good. That even though you got sick, that sucked, but at least you're doing better now. And what are your? I know you're doing the project. Is it like when the quarantine's over, you're going to be collaborating to go on tour again?
Yeah. So. Right now, like I said, specifically focusing on music videos, pushing it out, and just getting content out. But so the band who I perform for, they're talking about either a European tour or an Asia tour when the quarantine is over, because they think that Europe and Asia is going to like open up before America when it comes to actually being able to perform shows. So yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting, and then hopefully when things get back to it, I could go right back on tour.
I'm getting a feeling that you love being on tour.
Yeah, I definitely was nervous. Like first tour ever, I'm like, am I gonna like this lifestyle? Mm-hmm. And I love it so much. It's like I find myself at comfort when I have to like be in weird sleeping situations, being in another city day by day, and having a sound check, and only having an hour to do this, and then making it to the flight. I don't know. I don't mind any of that.
It just keeps your experience and your, I don't know, it would seem like I'm a musician because this is what they do and this is what I'm doing. And you feel like you're living your dream. It's what it sounds like, I mean, am I right? I mean, it sounds like you really thrive in that because you're like, oh man, I had to come home.
I mean, definitely was disappointing for sure. I'm definitely blessed in how I've been, moving throughout music in the past few years. So I was definitely really disappointed when I had to come home for sure.
What would you recommend to someone who might be watching this or is interested in music and wants to because you sound like you're pretty experienced with dealing with the tours and networking that. What advice would you give to someone who's up and coming or wants to get on tour? Like, what little advice would you guide them to do? I mean, that you've learned that maybe you shouldn't do or do. What piece of advice would you offer out there?
Yeah. I've learned a lot of do's and don'ts just being, I know this is not a word, but observative, just being able to just sit back and see like, oh, well, that appeared to be really goofy, or that appears to make this situation easier. So it's basically like learning how to like be in it without being in the way. So you're like, okay, not like an annoying person to travel with. That's like one thing that's important. Being a team player is super important, but still like being able to present yourself in a way where people, they don't mind being around you and like that's for like the touring aspect. But as far as like getting into the industry or whatever, I'd say just focusing on developing good content. That's just number one, is good content, good music.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, sometimes people think they're going to go do the rock style lifestyle, like Motley Crue, right, or in the good old days. And not to say that it doesn't still happen, but who would you like to see yourself working with a producer, a big time producer? Who do you have your heart set on or some goals set on?
Production wise, I would say like I have my team of people here in Chicago and I'm really comfortable with them and I really only like to work with them. I'm always open to meeting new people and, oh, you play great bass, like sure, come get on this record if it makes sense. But as far as like people who I would like to work with, I would say it would be more on like an artist side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drop some names.
Yeah. I'm really into like old music, people like Bobby Womack and like weird stuff like Dolly Parton and stuff like that. But I do like
there's nothing weird about that. They're legends.
They're legends, exactly. So, but I don't know, maybe like more like younger folk type rappers like Future and YoungBoy and even my Chicago people, like just, I really like drill type, melodic type rappers, and I would just like to collab with them somehow, somewhere. Make it work.
Okay, well, yeah, you never hurts. I mean, you put it out there and you never know what you can manifest. Or you never know, someone might hear your work and then, it will happen. I mean, you seem like it seems like you pretty much got it all planned out, but you're just going, you're just laying down the foundation that's necessary to get there. I mean, I don't know. I see it in you. You're already touring. You just got it. So, I mean, and I really enjoyed listening to your music on, and checking out your stuff. So I was like, I was impressed. So I was like, oh, this will be a good conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're more than welcome. Do you want to do any shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, always. I love to shout out my people, basically all my music people who've been helping me with my music, which is basically,
okay.
I'm going to break it down by instruments because that's all I can think of right now. But
sure,
I have my best friend, bass player, Timmy V, who he helps me with all the bass on my music. And then my good friend, Nico LeGreat, who does a lot of the keyboard and percussion stuff with me. And then my great friend, Russell Wine, who helps me with the mixing process. And then my younger big bro, Rick Wilson, who is the person who I tour with and stuff, who's been helping me with everything and anything that I need. And God, and that's it.
Nice. That's nice.
And obviously there's many more people, but you know how it goes.
Well, yeah, we only have a limited time, You're like the Oscars when they
I
start
was
doing the
just about
light.
to say, you can start playing the music on me. They're like, all right, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Okay, when you're performing, how do you like to end? Like, do you say anything? Do you like, what is your way like when you're ending your show? Do you have anything specific that you do? You know how some, like when I remember followed this one band, they'd always do like this dead fish song and then he'd be flopping on the ground. I'm not saying you're going to do that, but is there something that you like to end your show with?
Me personally, for my Maxwell Plain set, I've yet to really figure that out because I haven't been able to play too many of my personal records for people,
Oh, right.
considering where we're at. But with the band who I do play a lot of shows with, we basically just ended on a big turn up, like just a super heavy orchestral moment where there's a lot of music, dancing, messages, just real big hype. And I think it's important to end on a just like a big note,
Okay. See, there you go. You got your thing. Yeah, that's cool. So I really want to thank you for coming and joining us. And I'll be making sure to follow and I really want to see where your Maxwell Plains project goes. That's wonderful when you get an opportunity. You put in the work and now you get to do your thing and collaborate with the people you want to collaborate, and the best of luck in all of that. And always keep us posted because, we're here to help promote, independence and people, because it is, you want to, there's many out there, and what's going to set you apart is you putting in the work to, promote yourself and do your thing. So we're here for you. And thanks again for joining us here at the Caliente Girls. And it's been my pleasure.
My
Wonderful.
pleasure.
And thank you for so much taking the time and burning that midnight oil, okay?
Anytime.
Wonderful. You have a good night and take care. Bye-bye.
You as well. Bye.